So we are looking at linear inequality in two unknowns. We are saying that this is when there are two variables involved in a linear inequality. Such inequality can be shown on a Cartesian what? Graph. That is on a graph what? Paper. How do we show these inequalities graphically? So we are going to look at how we can show the inequalities on a graph. Um, if we are to show an inequality on a Cartesian graph, we consider the inequality as if it was an equation. You simply consider the inequality as if it was an equation. And then plot the line corresponding to it. In this case, we then shade the unwanted region. What we call the unwanted region is the region on the Cartesian graph for which the inequality has no solution. That is what we call unwanted what? Region. So there is an important note that we need to consider here, that when drawing the line, we look at or we look for the inequality symbol and then treat the line as follows. We simply look at the inequality symbol and then we consider the following. One, if this inequality symbol is less or greater, then we use broken lines or we use dotted lines, meaning that it is not a part of the solution to the inequality. Meaning it is not a part of the solution to the what? To the inequality. So this is what I mean, that if we have less or this is symbol here, greater, we use dotted lines to draw the what? To draw the line or what we call the boundary line. However, if the inequality symbol is less or equal, like this, or greater or equal, then what we do is we use a solid line to draw what we call a boundary line. Solid line, sometimes we call it continuous line. The solid line is in this form. You just draw a continuous line. Then the dotted line is in this form, or what we call the broken line. It must appear in dotted form. So we use this one to represent a boundary line. If we have seen, or if we see this symbol or this symbol. But when we say this symbol or this one, we use a continuous line. So here, there are some steps which are involved in drawing the inequality graphs. There are some steps which we follow. The first step is we form the equation for the boundary line for which the region lies by replacing the inequality sign with an equal sign. So the first thing is we form an equation. You write the inequality in form of equation by replacing the inequality symbol by the equal sign. That's the first step. After that, the inequality symbol, we find the intercepts for each of the boundary lines. We now find the intercepts for each of the boundary lines. What is the meaning of the intercepts? Here there are two intercepts. We have what we call the x-intercept and then the y-intercept. The y-intercept point is, or the y-intercept is the value of y when x is equal to 0. Then the x-intercept is the value of x when y is equal to 0. So we need to establish those points, the intercepting points, then we plot them. And after plotting them, we join them by using a straight line. So the next step is to join the two intercepts for each line with a continuous or broken line. You join them by using a broken line or a continuous line, depending on the sign of the inequality. That is to say, if the inequality sign is less or greater, we use broken lines. However, if it is less or equal, or greater or equal, we use continuous line. The next step is, depending on the nature of the inequality, the next step is we choose a test point. We choose a test point on one side of the boundary line and then check whether the test point satisfies the inequality or not. In other words, we use any point, you choose any point on the Cartesian plane, and then we use that point for testing the inequality, to show exactly which part of the inequality is wanted and which part is not wanted. The unwanted region or the unwanted part will be shaded, and then the wanted part will remain not shaded. Then the next part is you can now shade out the unwanted region. We shade the unwanted region. That is after drawing everything, then we can now shade the unwanted region after testing the point. After testing using the point chosen on the Cartesian graph. We can look at an example and see how we can work out inequalities on a graph. Example. Show the region x is less than 2 on a graph by shading out the unwanted region. They want us to show the region x is less than 2. X is less than 2 on a graph by shading out the unwanted region. On a graph by shading the unwanted region. By shading the unwanted region. So we want to show that the region x is less than 2 on a graph by shading the unwanted region. So we are going to follow the steps which we wrote down. We said that the first step is to remove the inequality sign and replace it by equal sign. That is to say, we form an equation for the inequality. How do you form that equation? We replace the inequality sign by equal sign. So we call that one the boundary line. So we say the boundary line is, we write it in this form. We write x, then we replace the inequality sign by equal sign. Then you write it 2. This is what we call the boundary line. Then the next step is we now draw this line on a graph. We draw the line x is equal to 2 on the graph. So our graph will look like this. This is the x-axis, and then this is the y-axis. If this is 0, our scale will be in this form. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Here we shall have 1, 2, 3, and so on. Figures on below 0 are all negatives. So we have -1, -2, -3, so on. The figures on the left-hand side of 0 are negatives. So we have -1, -2, -3, so on. Now, after representing the figures on the Cartesian graph, we are now going to draw the line x is equal to 2. The line x is equal to 2 is a vertical line which passes through 2. I repeat, the line x is equal to 2 is a vertical line that passes through 2. But because our symbol was less, we said we use broken line to draw that line. So our line will be in this form. We draw a broken line like this, passing through 2. So this is the broken line. So we can label the line that this is the line x is equal to 2. So after drawing that line, then we look at now the inequality symbol. The inequality symbol is less. Now, if this is the boundary line, we consider the region which is less than 2. The region that is less than 2 is on the left. In other words, the region that satisfies the inequality x is less than 2 is on the left. So meaning that the region on the left of 2 is wanted. But when we are shading, we shade the unwanted region. So unwanted region will be from this point. Then we shade it in this form. This is the unwanted region. So by so doing, we have already answered the question. This is how we represent such inequality on a graph. Example 2 says, show the region for which y is greater or equal to x plus 3 by shading out the unwanted region. So the region is y is greater or equal to x plus 3 by shading the unwanted region. So here we follow the steps. We said that the steps which we follow are, the first step is we write what we call an equation for this inequality by replacing the inequality symbol by equal sign. So we are going to write down the equation for the boundary line. So we shall say the boundary line is y. We replace the greater or equal sign by equal sign. So instead of writing greater or equal, we replace it by what? Equal sign. So we write x plus 3. Now, after that, the next step is now plotting. We now represent this line on a graph. We draw the boundary line on the graph. So we are going to sketch the graph. This is our graph. This is how it looks like. We have the y-axis. Then we are going to have the x-axis here. X-axis. But before we put everything on the graph, we need table of values for this graph. Table of values. Our table of values will be in this form. The table of values. This is how we write it. We put x here and then y. Now in the table, we are going to represent the intercepting points only. The value of x when y is equal to 0. Then the value of y when x is equal to 0. So we are substituting these values in our boundary line, which says y is equal to x plus 3. So in this case, when x is equal to 0, y will be equal to 3. It means where there is x, we shall substitute 0. So we shall have y is equal to 0 plus 3, which is equal to 3. So when x is equal to 0, y is 3. What if y is equal to 0? When y is equal to 0, x will be equal to what? So we substitute where there is a y, we put a 0. So when we put a 0 here, 3 will cross the equal sign. When 3 crosses the equal sign, we get negative 3 is equal to x. So the value of x will be negative 3. So when x is 0, y is 3. When x is negative 3, y is equal to 0. So we put them now on the graph. If this is the graph, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. On this side we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Down here we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. On the left, we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So this is how we indicate the values of the graph. Now we are going to plot these points. When x is equal to 0, y is 3. When x is 0, y is 3. So our point of intersection will be there. When x is negative 3, y is 0. When x is negative 3, y is 0. The point of intersection will be here. So after that, we are going to draw a straight line passing through negative 3 and 3. So we draw that straight line. We are going to draw a straight line passing through that point. This is how the straight line will be. So this is straight line. This is the line y is equal to x plus 3. This is the line. We are writing this y is equal to x plus 3. That is the line. So we have already drawn the line. After drawing the line, we need to shade the unwanted region now. So to shade the unwanted region, before we shade the unwanted region, remember this line must be a solid line. Yes, which is actually a solid line. So why is it a solid line? Because of the greater or equal sign. So we are going to shade the unwanted region. To shade the unwanted region, we need what we call a testing point, a point for testing which region is wanted and which region is not wanted. So we can choose the testing point. We can say, let the testing point, be, we can choose any. I can choose 0, 0, 0, 0. That means when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. Then we now bring our inequality, which says y is greater or equal to x plus 3. So we substitute. Where there is a y, I put 0 is greater or equal to. Where there is a x, I also put 0, then plus 3. So we shall find that 0 is greater or equal to 0 plus 3 is 3. Then we ask yourself, is 0 greater or equal to 3? Yes, 0 is greater than 3. Since 0 is greater than 3, it means that the inequality satisfies the region. The inequality satisfies the what? The region. So we say, yes, 0 is greater than 3. So from here, we come here. We chose that point at this point. So meaning that the whole of this part where you chose that point 0, 0 satisfies the inequality. So meaning that this region here is wanted. It is wanted because it satisfies the inequality. So if this is wanted region, it means behind this line it is not wanted. And we always shade the unwanted region. Then we now shade. So the whole of this region is unwanted. So we shade it like this. And therefore this becomes the answer. So that is how we answer such a question. We have showed the region for which 3x plus 2y, 3x plus 2y is less than 6. By shading out the unwanted region. So they want us to show this region for which 3x plus 2y is less than 6. So the solution is, the first thing is, we treat this inequality as if it was an equation. How? By replacing the inequality sign by the equal sign. So our boundary line, we say the boundary line is 3x plus 2y is equal to 6. That is the boundary line. After writing down the boundary line, then we can now draw a table. We can draw a table and then we fill the table. So how does the table look like? So the table will be in this form. In the table, we shall have the x and then the y. So here on the table, what appears on the table are the intercepts, the intercept values. So when x is equal to 0, what is y? And when y is equal to 0, what is x? We just substitute. We are saying when x is equal to 0, it means y will be, it implies that we substitute. Where there is a x, we put 0. We shall have 3 into 0, then plus 2y, and then we equal to 6. So here you will find that 3 times 0 is 0. We are left with the 2y is equal to 6. So I divide both sides by 2. Here by 2 is equal to 6 divided by 2. This will cancel and the y will be equal to 3. So meaning that when x is equal to 0, y is 3. So when x is 0, y is 3. Write that 3. What if y is equal to 0? You now say when y is equal to 0, what will be x? We substitute in our equation still. So we shall have 3x plus 2 into where there is y, we put 0. And we equate to 6. So that 3x, 2 times 0 is 0. So 3x will be equal to 6. I divide here by 3, here by 3. This will cancel, so that x will give us 2. It means x will equal to 2. So when y is equal to 0, x is equal to 2. So this is how the table of values will look like. This is how the table will look like. Then we now plot these figures on a graph. Let us now plot. So we write the graph of y against x. Against x. Our graph will be in this form. Draw that line. Then we draw a horizontal line. This is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. Values of x, 1, 2, 3, 4. Values of y, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the left of 0, we have -1, -2, -3, -4. Below 0, we have -1, -2, -3, -4. Now, after that, we are going to plot our figures. Going back to our table, when x is 0, y is 3. When x is 0, y is 3. So our point will be here. We continue. When x is 2, y is 0. When x is 2, y is 0. The point will be there. So we are going to join those 2 points by using a straight line. So we are joining using a straight line. So I'm going to join this point to this one by using a straight line. Like that. This is the straight line. But this straight line should be in dotted form because we had a less side. So we want to put it in a dotted form. So our straight line will be in this form. It has to be in a dotted form. Dotted form. There we are. So this is how the line looks like. And then we have to label the line. So this is the line. 3x plus 2y is equal to 6. 3x plus 2y is equal to 6. We have to label that. So after that, we want to plot now. We want to shade the unwanted region. Is this region wanted or it is unwanted? Is this region on the left wanted or unwanted? So to know which part is wanted and not wanted, we say we use a testing point. So we can choose the testing point. We can say let the test point be, we can choose 0, 0, 0, 0. So if it's 0, 0, remember our inequality equation was 3x plus 2y is less than 6. Less than? Yes, less than 6. That is it. So we substitute. Where there is x, we put 0. Where there is y, we also put 0. So we shall have 3 into 0 plus 2 into 0. Is it less than 6? You find that 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 times 0 is 0. Everything here you get 0. So is 0 less than 6? Yes. The answer is yes. Yes, 0 is less than 6. 0 is less than 6. Less than 6. So since 0 is less than 6, it means that the inequality satisfies the region. So this area where we chose the point satisfies the inequality. So the whole of this region here, on the left of this dotted line, is wanted. So if it is wanted, it means the region behind is unwanted. Then you now shade the unwanted region. So this is the unwanted region, and this is how we shade it. We shade it with this form. So this becomes the answer. Next. Number 4 says, by shading the unwanted regions, show the region which satisfies the following inequalities. X plus y is less or equal to 3. Y is greater than x minus 4. X is greater or equal to 0. Then the question says, hence, find the area of the wanted region. of the wanted region. Hence, find the area of the wanted region. So, this is how we are going to make it. We also use the same method. We are going to write each of these inequalities using the equal sign. In other words, we treat them as equations. Why do you do that? So that we can be able to plot that line on the graph. So, here we shall say, for the inequality x plus y being less or equal to 3, it means that the boundary line is x plus y is equal to 3. So we are going to draw a table for this. So from here, we now draw the table for that. Here we have x and then y. In this table, what appears there are the intercept points. So when x is equal to 0, what is y? You can see that when we substitute 0 here, y will be 3. When y is equal to 0, what will be x? When y is equal to 0, when we substitute 0 here, it means x is equal to 3 also. So this is the table. Then we consider another one. For the inequality which says y is greater than x minus 4, for that inequality, it means the boundary line is y, we replace the inequality symbol by equal sign, is equal to x minus 4. Then we also draw the table for that. Put here x, put y. When x is equal to 0, what is y? You find that y will equal to, where there is x, you put 0. And 0 minus 4, we get negative 4. When y is equal to 0, what is x? It means where there is a y, we put 0. When negative 4 crosses the equal sign, it will be positive 4. And the meaning that the value of x will be positive 4. The table of values will look like this. Then, for this one here, this is automatic. For x is greater or equal to 0, it means the boundary line is x is equal to 0. X is equal to 0. So we shall draw the line x is equal to 0. Now we are going to put everything on the graph. We plot everything on the graph, then we shade the unwanted region. The region that is left unshaded will be the wanted region, and we shall find the area of that region. So let us plot. We shall say graph of y against x. Against x. That will be the heading. So we are representing everything on the graph. This is the y-axis. Then we have the x-axis. Okay, let us insert the line. We have the y-axis. and then we have the x-axis. On the y-axis, we have here y-axis and then the x-axis. So we put the values. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1, -2, -3, -4. -5. Horizontal, below 0 we have -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. So we are going to plot. Starting with the first one, when x is equal to 0, y is 3. When x is 0, y is 3. So the point will be here. Okay. When x is 3, y is 0. When x is 3, y is 0. The point will be here. Then we now check. Was it having, which symbol did it have? Was it less or equal? You can see that it was less or equal. So we use continuous line. So we use continuous line. So we are going to join those points by using continuous line. So joining this, you shall have the line passing there. Then we label it. It is x plus y is equal to 3. So we have labeled the equation. Then we go to the next line. But before we go to the next line, we want to shade the unwanted region. To shade the unwanted region, we choose a point. We can choose the testing point. Let the test point be, we can put 0, 0. Our equation, our inequality is x plus y is less or equal to 3. Is less or equal to 3. So let us test. When x is equal to 0, put 0 here. Y is 0, put 0 here. Less or equal. Is it less or equal to 3? Is 0 less or equal to 3? The answer is yes. So since it's yes, it means that it satisfies the inequality. This region satisfies the what? The inequality. Where you chose that point, this region here, all of this satisfies the inequality. So this is the wanted region. If this is the wanted region, it means behind this line it is unwanted. So we shade the unwanted region. So this is the unwanted. So after shading, we go to another line. We draw another line. For the other line, we also plot. When x is 0, y is -4. When x is 0, y is -4. The point will be here. We go to another point. When x is 4, y is 0. When x is 4, y is 0. The point will be here. When x is 4, y is 0. So we are also going to join this point to this one. But is the line continuous or broken? Let us check. For this one, it is greater symbol. It means the line is broken. So we join using the broken lines. So let us join this point, this one by using the broken line. By using broken line. So we join that one using the broken line. So this is the equation. We write the equation of the line, which is y is equal to x minus 4. Y is equal to x minus 4. After labeling it, then we now shade also the unwanted region. Is this region wanted or not? So for our inequality, for y is greater than x minus 4, let the test point be 0, 0. We normally use 0, 0 because when we substitute 0, 0, we can easily get the what? The answer. But you can use any point within the Cartesian plane. So, in this case, when we substitute, we shall have where there is a y, we put 0, is greater than where there is a x, we put 0. Then negative 4. On this side, we shall have 0 is greater than 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Then we ask ourselves, is 0 greater than negative 4? Yes. The answer is yes. 0 is greater than negative 4. So since 0 is greater than negative 4, it means that the region, the inequality satisfies the what? The region. The region satisfies the inequality. So the region where you chose that point satisfies this inequality. This is the point where we chose it. So it means that the whole of this part satisfies the inequality. So this is wanted region. If this is wanted, it means behind this line is unwanted. So this is unwanted region. The whole of this region is unwanted. We shade it there like that. So there we are. After that, we continue. We go to the next. The next one is the line y is greater or equal to 0, which is the same as y is equal to, x is equal to, is greater or equal to 0. So we are going to draw the line x is equal to 0. The line x is equal to 0 from our graph. We go to the graph and we draw the line x is equal to 0. The line x is equal to 0 is a vertical line passing through 0, which is the same as the y-axis, the whole of this line. So in the y-axis, we are going to do what? To shade the unwanted region. Which one is the unwanted region? The unwanted region in this case will be, here we say, for the line x is greater or equal to 0, for the line x is greater or equal to 0, you can see that the region on the right of 0 is wanted. X is greater or equal to 0. The whole of this region is wanted in front of 0. Meaning that behind 0 is unwanted. So we are always interested in shading the unwanted derivative. So this is unwanted derivative. Unwanted derivative. Shade it in this form. So after shading that, we find that at the middle, we are left with a region that is not shaded. So they want us to find the area of the unshaded part. So the area of the unshaded part is the same as finding the area of this triangle. So how do we find the area of this triangle? To find the area of this triangle, what we do is we find the point of intersection here. This is point of intersection. We only determine the x value for the point of intersection. Meaning that we solve the equation y is equal to x minus 4 and the x plus y is equal to 3. We solve them simultaneously. After solving them simultaneously, we shall get the values of x and the y. In this case, we are interested in only the value of x. When we get the value of x, this will act as the height of the triangle. And then, after getting the height, we apply the formula for finding the area of the triangle, which is got by a half times base times the height. So let us obtain the point of intersection. For the point of intersection, we shall say area of the unshaded part of the triangle. This area, we normally call it feasible region. We want to find the feasible region in the graph. So to find the area of that, we need to know the base. The base is the distance from this point up to here, base of that triangle. Then we need to know the height. The height is the distance from this point up to here. Now to find the height, we need to know the value of x. How do we find the x? To find the x, we solve the two equations simultaneously. So let us see. We can say to find the area of the unshaded part. We get to the height. The height first, which is h. And how do we get? All right. So we get the height h. So how do we get h? We say we solve the two equations. So remember, our equations are, we have y is equal to x minus 4. Y is equal to x minus 4. This is equation 1. Then the other equation is x plus y is equal to 3. X plus y is equal to 3. X plus y is equal to 3. Is equal to 3. So we solve the two equations simultaneously. How do we solve them? We can use the method of what? Elimination. We can use a substitution or any method. So let us solve them. We can substitute equation 1 into equation 2. So substituting equation 1 into equation 2, we shall have, where there is y, we put this. We have x plus, where there is y, I put x minus 4. then I equate to what? To 3. X plus x is 2x will equal to 3 plus 4. And 2x will equal to 7. I divide by 2 by 2. This will cancel such that x will now give us 3.5. So that is the value of x. So, but we are only interested in only the value of what? X. We may not find the value of y. So in our triangle, remember, base, our base is equal to the base. Let us see. The base is the distance from here up to here. So we count 1 unit, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 units. So the base is 7. Base is equal to 7 units. The height h is equal to, we got it as 3.5 units, and then only that. So area of the triangle is equal by a half times base times height, which is equal to a half times our base, which is 7, times the height, which is 3.5. 3.5. And when we simplify, we shall have 7 times 3.5. 7 times 3.5. We get 24.5. 24.5 all over 2. And 24.5 divided by 2. Divide by 2, we get 12.25. 12.25 square units as the area. So this becomes the area. So our lesson of today has ended there. We shall continue from there next time.